So we're waiting to find out from Gautrain themselves if some of their services have indeed been disrupted. And for that, we do have Mr. Tshepo Kgobe, the Gautrain Management Agency CEO, who is going to be joining us in a short while just to let us know, of course, what is the response from Gautrain to, of course, the biggest union there, that is Numsa. Tshepo, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm sure you were listening to the Numsa spokesperson there. What are some of the issues that you'd like to clarify in regards to some of their views? You've heard about the revised 9% offer. What is your stance in this regard?
So thank you for having me. And as it's been, we've always said that the need for us to return to the table to negotiate is very, very important. And therefore, we got to make sure that everybody returns to the negotiating table. Obviously, they are negotiating with the Bombela team, and the Bombela team is making sure that they come back to them with a proper offer that then makes sense. Now, that in itself requires us to then make sure that both teams get back to the negotiating table. And for us, we are actually in the point where we're facilitating between the operator and the unions themselves. And in essence, we have a series of meetings which we will start just now at 6 o'clock, which will enable us that we connect the two parties.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, she also, Pagamile Hlubi, the spokesperson of Numsa, also made mention, Tshepo, of the fact that they've been compromising in trying to meet with you and meet you halfway. They're saying that they, as Numsa, have actually agreed to conciliation with the CCMA as well as yourselves. Will you be undertaking this decision as well?
No, that is definitely welcomed as what they call it as a process. It is a process that is facilitated by the CCMA, and as it is right now, we are able to make sure that that happens as it's supposed to happen. So the operator and Numsa should actually get back on the table and then have this issue resolved as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Now, with regards to the revised offer of 9%, Tshepo, where are you as Gauteng in terms of engagements as well as reaching some sort of a resolution with the union? And what are you tabling, so to speak, as your counter offer?
As I said, Bongazi, it is an issue that the operator themselves, who are the people who they are negotiating with directly. Mm-hmm. Remember, we are just simply the owners of the assets and the people that require the service for the people of Gauteng. We would want to sit around the table and make sure that the negotiation goes through, and then we make it work, and we will facilitate and make sure that it gets to a point where it gets resolved.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tshepo, let's talk about this. I mean, there has been some allegations, of course, against some of the employees of Gautrain there giving themselves bonuses and not allowing staff some of their designated hours. What is your response to this allegation?
So these issues have been discussed, and they are part of the negotiations as a whole. And in actual fact, we have to make sure that these are discussed and are brought back on the table to discuss further. As what do they call it? As we look at the wage increase, we look at the issues of what do they call it? Of the 6-day work week. We look at the issue of bonuses and how bonuses are structured within the employee and the unions, and therefore we got to make sure that these things are dealt with in a very transparent manner. Mm-hmm. And as I said to you, it is the operator that has to actually make sure that these things are negotiated and are made transparent with the unions.
Mm-hmm. And in closing, very quickly, Tshepo, I mean, you have assured your commuters that their services will not be disrupted by implementing some of the contingency measures. What are these and how long will they remain in place? Because as we understand, Numsa says their workers will be striking until, of course, their demands have been met.
The primary to us, it becomes us resolving the strike. The issue of the contingency plan, we have enough staff to be able to, we've managed this morning's peak. We are managing right now with this afternoon's peak. We will continue to manage over a period of time. The biggest challenge that you sit with is that when you have limited staff, the issue of rotation comes into play. So we have to ensure that primarily to us, it's about resolving the strike. Every company has a business continuity plan, and we have implemented our business continuity plan, and it's working out well, but it's unsustainable. And therefore, that is why we have taken the time to make sure that the parties come back onto the table to negotiate.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Tshepo Kgobe, the Gautrain Management Agency CEO, also weighing in on the Numsa strike.